Hey, you guys, this is your girl, Coach Ebony Nicole, the writing coach and publishing engineer. And I am so excited to have you all join me for this very, very special moment. I have one of my friends, Miss CaTyra Polan, the chief editor, okay, of Love for Loving, what? Love for Words?
Love
Thank
for
you.
words.
Love
Yes.
for Words. I want to say love in words. And we are going to talk about editing all week. That's all I've been talking about, posting about, sharing content about editing. It is by far the most important part of publishing. And when I tell you it's important, I mean, I would rather you spend $20 on a book cover and $250 on the editor. It's probably more than that. But just to give you some numbers, I want you to spend more on editing and less on everything else. Why? Because your book is going to be judged by the content. And if that content is not in order, if that content is not right, they're going to put it down and they're going to talk about you. So this is me helping you not be talked about. Okay. Again, I am Ebony Nicole Smith, your writing coach and publishing engineer. I am the founder and CEO of Ebony Nicole Smith Consulting, which is a boutique writing and publishing company. I help faith-based authors, men and women, children, write that book, the one that God ordained them to write in the given season for it to be released. And what I want to do before we hop right in, I want CaTyra to introduce herself and let you all know who she is. Go ahead, Ty.
Hello, everybody. My name is CaTyra Polan. I am the CEO of Love for Words, which is an editing boutique. And I specialize in working with clients who are CEOs, business owners, and they may even have a nonprofit, but they write nonfiction and I help them polish their manuscripts for the publishing stage. So that's a little bit about me. Also, I started Love for Words in 2017. And this publisher, I know it might be Ebony Nicole Smith, was looking for an editor. So I did a sample edit for her. And the rest was really history. She was very satisfied with the sample I did. And she started to refer her publishing clients to me. And we've been working together ever since. And I'm pretty sure I'm over 36 books now. So I've worked with a lot of different authors, memoirs, biographies, poetry, primarily nonfiction. I am open to fiction. I've done novels and comic books as well. I'm also an author myself. So I published, I think, 3 or 4 books now. I won't go too much into that. If you'd like to know more about my books, they're on my website, or more about me, PolandLLC.com. You can go right over there and learn a lot more about me, but that's just a brief intro.
There you are. So, CaTyra, you've been doing this since 2017. What are some things that in your journey you've come across? For me, one, I'm a comma queen. 2, one of the things I tend to do is I would change my tense in the middle of a sentence and don't really realize that because I just want to write and get it out. What are some things you've encountered in your journey as an editor that you want people to be aware of?
Yes. So the most common things that I encounter as a developmental editor, by the way, for developmental editors, there are different types of editing. A lot of people don't know that. I'm a developmental editor. So I really focus on the content. So are you talking to your target audience? Are you answering questions that they might have? Really big picture. Do you have one reveal in 2 places? So are you telling us that Stacy had a baby in chapter 3 and then you're telling us again in chapter 7? Are we spelling Stacy the same way throughout the book? So those are some of the things that I look at. And the common thing that I find is that the writing can be vague. So if you make a statement, you want to make sure that it's clear to your reader. So I can't think of an example right now, but if you say something, you don't want to leave that reader hanging. Like, what does that mean? So even if you use an acronym, the first time you use the acronym, you should be writing it out, at least in parentheses, to say, okay, WHO stands for whatever.
Right.
And then as you move through the book, you can just use the acronym. But if you use the acronym the first time and then you never explain what it is, that's going to leave your reader confused. Like, okay, there's thousands of acronyms,
Yep.
WHO, which one are you talking about? So
Yep.
I've been coming across that a lot. And then, like I said, just not answering questions or having an incomplete thought. Like, Joe went to the store and he said, and then you move to the next sentence. What did he say? And sometimes we just forget, and sometimes we write the way we speak, so we don't realize that we've forgotten to tell you what Joe said.
Yeah.
So those are some of the things. Those are the most common: being vague, not explaining, and also leaving questions for your audience. So even like if you're writing like in a specific industry and there's jargon, which is basically language that is specific to a certain industry or environment. If you're writing a book about medical practices in urgent care and you're using a term that's specific to the medical field, you probably need to define that for your
Yeah.
reader.
Yeah.
Especially if you're targeting maybe people who aren't familiar with the industry, maybe they need an intro to what takes place inside of the urgent care. But if you have a word there that they don't know, you should be defining it. So things like that, just making sure that you're not leaving unanswered questions. Nobody wants to read a book and be like, oh, well, what does that mean? And
What
what does
does
that
that
mean?
mean? Yes. Yes.
And I mean, oh, go ahead.
No, I was going to say that's a great point, because also not only does that happen in nonfiction, but it does happen in fiction stories. And so the way I remember fiction and nonfiction is fiction is fake and nonfiction is real. So that's how I remember it. But when it comes to this leaving these open-ended things, it's like, okay, so what is this? What does this mean? And where are you going with this? And the incomplete thoughts, that was something I had a challenge with my very first book.
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking it up here, but it did not make it way to my laptop, and that was a gap right there. And then there was the transitional writing and things like that. So that was a process I had to learn. And transitional writing is connecting one thought to the next and filling in that gap, because sometimes you'll just be like,
and that's
Joe
another
went to the store.
Right.
Why he went to the store? Okay, and Joe went to the store and then came home. Well, what happened? He came back home, he was upset. Well, what happened when he went to the store and he came home upset? What happened? So yeah.
And then, like you said, I see a lot of issues with transitioning as well. So, the first paragraph, you might be talking about, being on the beach of vacation. And the second paragraph, you're talking about a snowstorm. Okay, well, how is that connected? Why are you choosing to put those two paragraphs back to back? What's the connecting bind there for you to have those paragraphs next to each other? So I come across that. And then the other thing too is like, why does it matter? So Joe wore a red shirt and black pants. Okay. Does Joe get kidnapped later? So we need to know what he's wearing. Is that Joe's favorite color? Is Joe a part of the Bloods? Like, what's the importance of that? So a lot of authors forget to connect the story, and they put in details that the way it's written, it really doesn't seem like it needs to be there. But also in that case, there's times where I don't know that they're going to reveal it later. And I'm like, okay, you need to move this piece up here or move that Joe's wearing red shirt and black pants down to where you're saying why that matters. So that's another piece that I come across a lot, where it's like either they don't tell you why it's important, or there's like 3 chapters between that detail and then the connecting reason why it's in there. So,
and then by the time you get down to that 3rd chapter, it's like, this doesn't make sense at all. Or then you'd be like, oh, now I get it. But you have to explain. You do have to explain. One of the things that I love about editing is I get to pour out everything, and then you, as my editor, you get to make sure my sentences are structured. I don't have to worry about those things. What would you say to someone who likes to write one sentence and then edit the heck out of it before going to the next?
I don't, that's a tough one. I would say limit your editing to one round. So write it first and then edit it once and then go ahead and say, okay, this can go to the editor. Because
Yeah,
like you said earlier, if you just edit every single sentence or you continue to edit and go back to the beginning and edit,
you'll never
you're
finish.
just going to prolong the process.
Yep.
So that's the best recommendation I have, is to write and then edit and then move it on to the professional instead of trying to do it line by line or more than one round, because
Yeah.
it's just redundant, especially if you're not an editor yourself,
Mm-hmm.
or you don't write as well as you would like to be conveyed in your book.
Yeah.
So just do your writing at once and then one round of editing and then move it to the next step.
There you go. And that's a good thing, because I'll tell you, when it comes to writing my stories, either fiction or nonfiction, I just want to get everything out and then worry about edits later.
Right.
That one round of self, doing my edits myself, I can be honest, transparent. You've read my grammar sucks. So that's one of the things I talk to my clients about is their grammar. Oh, my grammar's bad. That's why I have 3 editors, because
Right.
they know what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
We don't worry about that. I promise you, that's the last thing we worry about, because if we focus on something that's not in our lane, we'll never move forward.
Right.
What is something that someone, if they wanted to work with you, they were like, I want to work with an editor. What should they prepare themselves for? What should they prepare themselves for? Not prepare their manuscript yet, but what should they prepare themselves for editing?
Before their manuscript is done, or once
they're done with their manuscript, how should they prepare themselves to work with an editor?
Well, for me, I have a system in place. So the first thing we do is the consultation up front. So that's a discussion between myself and the author. We talk about their work, whatever manuscript they want me to edit. I get background details about that manuscript, genre, how long it is, why you wrote it, things like that. And then I give them an opportunity I give an intro, and then I allow them to follow up. I also have an online consultation they fill out. So first I intro myself, then we talk about the online consultation, discuss the details.
Yep.
Then I do a sample edit. And if it meets their needs and it's, both of our expectations are met, then we move forward with the invoice and the contract. So the most important part for me is the relationship building. We need to be able to trust each other.
Yep.
So the whole reason I have the consultation up front is so we don't waste time or money. I don't want to spend 3 hours on this manuscript for you to come back and say, this is not what I'm looking for. And I don't want you to spend $1,000, just to be dissatisfied once I'm done editing the manuscript. So that is the most important part in any business, in the relationship building, is relationship building. So, they say they have to like, know, and trust you. It rings true for every business. So I recommend to all business owners, not just those in the publishing, writing, editing field, making sure that you have an upfront conversation with the client so that there's no assumptions. Because like I said, there's different types of editing. I don't do creative editing. So I can find that out during the consultation and be like, what? I don't do that. So we don't have to waste a sample edit. You don't have to waste money. I don't waste time. You know what? Ebony Nicole Smith does creative editing. I can give you her information. So it really works to the benefit of not just the editor, but also the author. And making sure that we're on the same page, that, the genre that you want me to edit is something I'm comfortable with, or something I'm familiar with, or something I'm at least willing to learn about. Like I've had clients come to me like, oh, I just wanted to make sure that you actually edit LGBTQ manuscripts. Because I've had a lot of editors say, no, I don't do that. I don't do that type of manuscript, or erotica, or things like that. So that's important to know, because we all have our preferences. And like I said, I would much rather we find that out during the upfront consultation, then later on, and it's like, oh,
Right.
well,
You know,
now
submitted
we
your
just, yeah,
manuscript and did all this thing just to be like, I don't edit that type of work.
right,
Well, we need, that's why the consultation is very important. And
exactly.
I love how you said that someone should do your consultation, you get to understand what their needs are, and they get to understand where you're coming from as the editor. For
Exactly.
you, what genres do you edit in? So if someone's like, I need an editor for XYZ, well, I only do Z. So what genres do you edit in?
Well, my specialty genres are fall under nonfiction. So primarily memoirs, self-help, poetry, like, guides, autobiographies, biographies, those types of books. I have done fiction. I've done a novel. I've also done like it's a young adult story that was fiction, and a comic book. I prefer nonfiction. I also write nonfiction as an author, but I am open to fiction. The bulk of my experience is in nonfiction. So those are and that's what I prefer, but I'm open to other genres as well.
So y'all heard it. If you need an editor, this is one that I highly recommend. Okay. She has, I don't know how many of my clients I really don't know. I honestly don't know how many of my clients that she's edited for me. But I love her transparency. I love how I can just, hey girl, how's this going? How's that going? And my clients have nothing but great things to say about the work that she's done. I'm just like, for me, relationships matter. They really do. And I remember when I was looking for an editor, I put out there, hey, I need an editor. And she was like, I edit. You do? You're like, yeah. I remember we were volunteering near your mom. We're volunteering at a women's shelter to prepare a Christmas dinner for them. And I just completely forgot that you said that you're an editor. And like she said, the rest was history. We've been working and rocking together ever since. So if someone wanted to contact you and connect with you, how would they go about doing that?
Yeah, so you can go to my website, pollandllc.com, POLLANDLLC.com. That's a lot of L's. If you just go to my website, my Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, all of my social handles are on there. They're at Polland LLC. So that's for all of the different channels. So you can go on my website, you can email me. My email is on there. You can send me a message through the actual website. My email is on there. My office number is on there, so you can call me. If you're ready to start working with me, you can schedule a consultation on my website. You just go to pollandllc.com/consultations. So that's how you get in touch with me. I will also like to share that Editor Knows Best is my podcast, and it's and it's also the name of my ebook. So the podcast features authors, editors, and other literary professionals. So if you're interested in being a guest, there is a nominal fee. It's going up next year. Right now it's $25. So if you're interested in being a guest, you can reach out to me. Sign up is on my website, so you can head over there. The ebook is a 101 guide. So it outlines the types of editing. I also outline what to expect from an editor, what not to expect from an editor, and all of the 101 pieces. So if you would like to know a little bit more about what the editing entails, you can download the ebook for free on my website. That's pollandllc.com/shop. All my books are also on the shop page as well. So I look forward to hearing from you. Email me, call me. If you have questions, I'm open to talk with you, give you advice, make recommendations, and of course, excited to work with you as well.
There you have it. I am excited. I'm confident that you're going to get a whole bunch of people like, so I saw you and I was wondering, can you do a sample? Yes, sample. And that's one of the things I love. And I really recommend you get a sample, because just because someone says they're an editor doesn't mean they can. I know, because my very first book, I spent over $2,000 between 3 editors. And you know what my biggest problem was? The editing. No. Your girl is teaching from experience. Get a quality editor. get one, all right? And stick with her, rock with her, all right?
Or him.
Or him. Yeah, him too. I'll be forgetting. Rock with him too, him or her. But I rock all my editors are women, so that's why I say her. But, and there's no, I mean, I rock with men too, but I just came across women editors. But that is one of the things that I want people to, one of the things I want people to be aware of is this is certainly the important part of your book, of your entire manuscript, okay, is the editing. I get the whole idea. You want to showcase, you want a dope book cover, but honey, the editing is well worth the money. I promise you, I promise.
Yeah.
All right. The
Definitely.
editing is very, very important. I am excited. I can't wait to see who all drops books next year. If you have any questions, please, or comments, please leave them down below and we will surely answer them. So until next time, you guys, this is our week of edits. So look at my prior posts, look at the ones that are to come, and make sure you go to polandllc.com/shops.
Yeah, shop, one, no S, shop.
Oh, shop to download Editor Knows Best. Listen, she's giving you what you need to proceed to be successful in 2021. I almost was about to rap, but I decided to keep that skill to myself. So I am your girl, Coach Ebony Nicole, the writing coach and publishing engineer. You can follow me on Instagram at Coach Ebony Nicole, as well as on Facebook at Coach Ebony Nicole. And I want you all to have a great experience publishing, a great experience writing, and don't forget to enjoy it, okay? It can be stressful, but you look for the joy in it. Until then, you all have a blessed day.